Well, hello and welcome everyone to another Cathedral check-in. This week we're going to be talking about the Tenant starter kits, and our guests today are Stephen Seltzer from Our Place, who is the Manager of Special Events and Corporate Philanthropy for Our Place, and Alex Harvey, who is the Assistant Administrative Assistant here at Christchurch Cathedral. So I think a primary question for most people is, what is this program? So Stephen, if you can tell us, what's the concept?
Sure. The Tenant starter kits came from us realizing that we have people who are transitioning from shorter term housing. We're seeing more opportunities for them to start moving into their own homes, either homes that we are managing or just out in the community with support. And they're walking into these homes basically with nothing. And it's our mission to make sure that they succeed. We've helped so many people get to this point that we need them to feel as comfortable and as ready to re-engage, to get back into the community as possible. So the kits are a huge support.
That sounds great. And so where did this idea originate? What was the genesis of this notion?
From our housing team, we were seeing one or two people moving into housing, and actually more than that, but in the past it would be ad hoc on their own time, running around to find a bed or running around to find dishes, cutlery, all the things that we take for granted. So they came to us, the fund development team, who not only looks for desperately looks for financial support so we can keep feeding our community and so on, but also to see if we can help with tracking down items to make their transition a success.
I can see that being a tremendous help because it gets complicated setting up a house. The number of places you have to go and the number of things you have to find, it is pretty involved and expensive.
Exactly, and we've had a fair amount of success. We're totally appreciative of you guys reaching back out to us, and it's all of these things that we never even thought of. Questions were being asked, like, would somebody like artwork? Would somebody need just even basic clothing? A lot of them are just coming in with next to nothing. So to be honest, it's a learning process as well for us to determine what's needed.
Now, in terms of participation, how many partner organizations are you working with?
We didn't put this out publicly. We put it out directly to faith groups and a few community groups because we just don't have any storage to hold things. So we've had about 35 to 40 faith groups like yourselves reach out to us, ask some more questions, and the majority are moving ahead with collecting kits. So it's super exciting. And if I can say, the one really nice thing we've heard is through COVID, a lot of faith groups haven't been able to do what their passion is, which is giving back to the community, coming together and servicing. So we're finding this is an opportunity for groups to be able to continue to get together, if not physically, then at least on a mission, a campaign, collect items and continue to fulfill what makes them feel good inside during COVID.
I think Alex might attest to this. It seems like our folks, there was some excitement around being able to do this, right? Just to do something.
It's exciting to go shopping and buy things.
For a purpose.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably, I would think a mixture of shopping and a bit of a scavenger hunt to see what people have around their own homes, I would think. And that's been kind of fun to hear about.
Yeah. Lord knows we have more stuff than we use much of the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe a bit too much shopping goes on most of the time. Now, I think we have some good notion of what the benefits are. What might some of the challenges be in administrating this program?
One challenge right now, just so you're aware, is our housing team are completely overwhelmed right now. As you may have seen in the news, we've opened several shelters. Whether it's the one on Russell Street, taking over the 3 hotels recently, the tiny town. So trying to manage getting people from the parks into the shelters, and then trying to manage who's ready from the shelters to
Yeah.
transition into their own homes. And that, to be honest, that's part of why we're asking people to hold on to their items, because we are flat out right now just desperately trying to service every end of that, because
Mhm.
that's what we want to be able to do, instead of just telling people in a getting out of Beacon Hill Park, here's a home. We want to make sure they're ready. So to be able to manage that cycle of going from the park to a shelter space, from the shelter space maybe to Tiny Town where you have your own room, and from there their own housing. So just staying on top of that has been a huge challenge, but it's incredible to see the good that's coming out of it.
So in other words, aside from the practical benefits, the actual process, the actual transition is more complicated than just providing stuff. There's a lot involved.
I mean, we're not taking for granted anything that that you, for example, are doing to arrange for the kits. It's all part of the success. It's all part of, if you had a wheel, there's like 50 different components that go into it. And without what you guys are doing, there's no success in the campaign. But just the other things we're doing behind the scenes to get someone ready to be at that place is in itself a huge endeavor.
Yeah, some real work. Now, Alex, we can see in the background behind you piles of stuff. I think it's important to note that what every participating organization is trying to do is to gather an entire household worth of stuff. And so that's the goal. So Alex, can you tell us a bit about how the Cathedral process has gone and just where we're at with it right now?
Yeah, well, we put a note on our website and in our e-news telling people about the Our Place project and asking people to bring in nearly new or new items from the checklist that had been provided. And we had a little bit of a slow start, but then it got some traction, and we had quite a lot of people asking what we needed and bringing items in. So it's been successful, and we've got a whole kit ready to go.
Wow.
So we're really pleased. We've only got a couple of items that have been duplicated, so that's good. But
Yeah.
It was everything from kitchen cutlery, glasses, down to measuring cups, dish soap, and then sheets and pillows for the bedroom and rugs for the floor. Everything that you'd need to start off. So I had one gentleman came in with the coffee maker, and he said, I was just about to leave the store when I realized that there's no point having a coffee maker without the coffee filters and the coffee to go with it. So he brought all 3 items in, which was
wow. There seems to be no small amount of joy around being able to do something like this as well. I've noticed that.
Yes, yeah. And we had about 25 people donating items altogether. Wow. Some staff, some members of our Cathedral community, and even a couple of people who aren't really connected to the Cathedral at all, but they'd heard about the project and donated some items. So it's really good.
That's wonderful. And then the one thing we're asking or offering is, once we have a lead on someone moving into a home and we give you a call, we'll give some notice if you're interested in having a card or something to be able to give some best wishes to the person moving in. I know that would mean a lot to them, to maybe even find out a tiny bit about your congregation and why you made this happen.
That's a lovely idea. Alex, if you could, if you just tilted your screen a little bit, we could see more of that pile behind there. I think it's worth having a look. There's some nice, a nice pile of stuff.
Yeah, and this isn't everything either. No. So we have some of the bigger items here, like the coffee machine, toaster, kettle, and even down to a box of garbage bags. So, and bangles. Yes. So it really is all the essentials. And there are other things here that you can't see, but yeah, people have been really generous, which is excellent.
I think it's fair to say that this has provided an opportunity for us really to sort of make our intentions real. you know, and I think that's a gift to us, really. You know, an opportunity to become practical, to become, once again, do something real, which particularly during the pandemic, there has not been so many opportunities to do that. So we're also grateful. I think we've benefited from this as well. So it's pretty good. It's a win-win, if you want to put it that way.
Oh, absolutely. Diana, who I work with, and we're kind of proud of the work we're doing. Like, sometimes we collect donations and then we hand it off to another part of our place, and things happen and so on. But this is tangible, right? This is something you can picture, someone walking into a home and having these things. And yeah, absolutely.
It's a good feeling. Well, Stephen, unless you have something to add, I think we've covered it pretty well.
Yeah, just to reiterate our gratitude. All these things that we take for granted that we're giving to someone who to provide maybe even I guess a new life is. I mean, this is those boxes in the background there are the starting point. So very grateful.
Starter kit.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today and giving our folks such a wonderful, you know, look into this program. And thank you, Alex, for your participation in this. And I now will just bid you all a good day. Thanks so much again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.